Hey, we're live on Facebook, everyone. You know, we got Tom Mower Jr. on the call here with us, and Andrea McKinney from up in Michigan. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and we're going to be talking a little bit about CBD with Thomas Mower Jr. today. How are you doing out there?
Doing great, Doc, and thank you for the invite to be on your webinar today. Yeah, everything's doing well out here. Excellent.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, before Sisel came out with their CBD, I'll tell you, I had been going out to Washington State, and I was buying CBD where my son lives there, and I'd go out and visit him every couple months, and I'd come home with different brands, different dosages of CBD, and really, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, none of them worked. I mean, some of them I'd feel like I got a buzz going, you know, like I drank too much. And some of it would make me fall asleep, but really none of them really helped with my chronic pain, you know, because of my motorcycle accident. I'm always looking for something natural that can keep my pain under control. And so I remember when you and your dad were saying that you're going to come out with CBD, I thought, oh my God, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, that's exactly what a lot of people went through. In fact, in March, when I launched this product in Pennsylvania, that's exactly what I saw. I think at that point we sold about 420 bottles. We had about 350 people there, and it was a 2-day seminar. And the next morning, I had a dozen people come to me and say, "Why is yours different than this soft gel I've been taking? Why is yours different than this tincture I've been taking?" They had 2 or 3 different forms of that, and they said, "It says that it's CBD, and it says it has so many milligrams, but why is it different?" And the reality is 80% typically do not have CBD in them, and they're off the chart, some of them even with THC values, which is very psychoactive, as we know. And so if CBD is done right, then it definitely works on a myriad of different situations that people are looking to have a positive result with. But what we found is that in the manufacturing industry, it's very expensive. When you're spending, you know, $7,000 to $10,000 a kilo on an active ingredient, you get everybody with a garage and a storage unit buying hemp seed oil at $30 a gallon. That's about 8 pounds. And they're putting it in bottles and saying hemp seed oil, CBD. There's 0 CBD in that. And what makes this work so well is the fact it's a phytocannabinoid, and your body naturally produces cannabinoids. And so it's like a glove in a hand. When you have CBD, your body takes right to it and helps fill that void, because reality is most people are short on cannabinoids in their body, because as you're producing these cannabinoids, it's like most things. Do we always have the amount of calcium we need in our diet? Do we always have the right amount of vitamins? No. We know food has gone down for the last 100 years, nutritional value, but also our body needs to have those building blocks to build different types of hormones and proteins and put peptides together. Well, one thing our body does produce is endocannabinoids, which are essential for our body to achieve homeostasis. And our body is every day trying to get that equilibrium in brain function, in sleep, in growth, in repair, and all the different hormones and proteins you're trying to produce. So you never have everything that you need. But when we flood our body with phytocannabinoids, what ends up happening is the fact we achieve this homeostasis, because the phytocannabinoids make up the difference that our body is not naturally producing. And that these cannabinoids work with the axons and the neurons, and every single organ of your body has CB1, CB2 receptors that are waiting for these endocannabinoids to make our bodies run and feel better. And so it's a very vital component that our body needs. And now with industrial hemp, we have the ability to flood our body with what they call an entourage effect, so that we have better state of mind, better feeling of health and well-being. And because of that, people who get the good stuff, as I should say, or that is done right, they see a benefit very rapidly. And then And the nice thing about it's non-addictive. There's no problems with it. But what's happened over the last year, regulators have tried to clean this field up. And this is something I started over 3 years ago, looking at how to do it right. I never thought we'd really be to a point where we're at right now, to where we would be able to sell such a dynamic product, and have it registered and have all the testing that we need to make sure that we give people a premium product. Because one thing we know, quality is what people want, and quality is what people deserve. And because of that, I've gone throughout our region looking for the very best material. And I deal with one grower specifically who has a historical record of what he has been producing. But even more important, he knows his neighbors and what they're doing. Because when you're talking about growing something like this, cross-pollination definitely affects the profile of the oil. And so it really starts right in the dirt. And one thing about industrial hemp, it can pick up a lot of other things that are in the soil. So you want organically grown, you want the right soil conditions, you want the right neighbors. And if you have all that and the right genus of the right species, you get a very even curve of all of the over 100 different CBD molecules that are found in that product.
You bet. You bet. So did it take you quite a while to find the right grower to buy it from? Did you have to talk to a lot of growers in order to find the right one?
A lot. And really going back, at first I talked to a lot of people who are growing marijuana, because my mind was such that going back 3 or 4 years ago, I thought hemp was hemp. I didn't know the differentiation between industrial hemp and medical marijuana and recreational. And I didn't understand what the difference was. In fact, up until a few years ago, I thought they were smoking the leaf of the marijuana plant. And, it's all about what's grown is in the bud. And so going back to my plant biology days at the University of Utah and dissecting, exactly where the different components come from, stem, leaf, seeds, bud, flower, what type of what time of the year is the best time to harvest, and the profile. I started talking to a lot of the guys in Oregon and Washington, and then over into Colorado to find out. And once I did that, then I went to the extraction level and talked to the different extractors to find out who was using what genus of plants and who had been doing this for a period of time and had a legal licensed facility and had a proven track record. And then as I weeded that down, I came to one grower who was by far a standout, who actually had brought his seeds in from another area for the very same reason, but also was working with the Department of Ag in his state on actually doing training on soil types and toxicities and things that you don't want in soil, and had removed himself away from the general area of where other types of genus of plants were grown, to where he had almost an island to himself. And that's how I made my decision over the last couple of years.
Wow. Andrea, I know that you've been studying CBD for quite a while as well. What kind of questions do you have for Tom?
Well, I just appreciate so much that Tom and Sisel have gone to the lengths they've gone to bring us a pure product like that. Mostly, I'm really interested in learning about the difference between the regular CBD oil we have and the Nano CBD oil, and what's the benefit of the Nano? I think people don't understand that quite yet.
Well, and a lot of this is very, very new. And so with Nano CBD, obviously nano means we're getting down 10 to the -9th. We're getting smaller in size to see if we can see an increase of effect. One thing that we do know is that CBD is heavily metabolized in the liver. Cytochrome 450, P450, the enzyme in the liver, will break it down rapidly. Many times people can have a quality product in a soft gel, And when it goes into the digestive system, it instantly goes into the liver, and you lose the majority of that product. With the tincture, you get submucosal absorption, and you get 4 to 5 times the absorption level. So if you're taking 20 milligrams or 25 milligrams in a tincture, reality is you probably have to take the same product in a soft gel 100 to 125 milligrams to get the same effect. And at that point, they're priced about the same. You know, if you're spending $150 a month, you'd be spending $750 a month. Yeah. So with the nano size, what we're trying to do is to see if we can get better absorption and get more bioactivity out of that molecule. And but it is fairly new, so we really don't know just how much more we're getting, but it really should help with that.
And how are you going to measure that? By results people have, or?
Well, at first we'll see if people are starting to see a difference, and then at some point we'll start drawing blood and doing different things to see if we can see a different level. Once you get a control group and you see what they're doing on a daily regimen, then at that point you can flip them over to the nano and start to measure that. But the theory would be that obviously smaller molecules are more readily available, and so it should have a big benefit.
So just for people who are newly watching this information today, like maybe you could explain the difference of how you might use the CBD oil. I know I saw some information about like putting it under your tongue sublingually versus just swallowing it. The difference there, and then how do you actually use the nano CBD oil?
Well, the nano you'd use the same way, but you're exactly right. I don't have a bottle sitting right here, but so you would take the tincture, and I have people who will put it on their knuckles. I have people that will add it to lotions that they like. I've added it to things like jojoba oil and things like that for people who've had hip replacements, knee replacement, because even your skin has all types of CB1 receptors in that. But going back to under the tongue, what happens when you have sublingual, whenever you eat something, I mean, you have, everything from your taste buds there, some pick up sour, some pick up sweet, different flavors. Your mouth has all sorts of things that it's doing. You're masticating food, you're tasting things, you have a thermostat there. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Can I ingest this? But also in the lining, in the mucosa, you start to absorb. And that's very crucial, because once you absorb that, you're automatically getting circulation of that product. When it goes right directly to the gut, then it's brought out, it's circulated through the liver, which is a giant filter for a good reason. And at that point, it starts to break things down and metabolize it. Not to get off topic of CBD, but resveratrol is the same thing. I would love to put resveratrol in a capsule. That would be so much easier to produce. But the reality is, with blood work, we're getting 3 times, 300% increase in blood of liquid resveratrol. And when I did that product, I really look back at the original studies that were done when they went back to see the healthiest populations of people, and they found that red wine, the red grapes contained resveratrol and turned on the sirtuin gene. Well, then everybody came out with capsules and tablets, and I thought, no, they're drinking it in wine, and wine obviously is very absorbable, and it has a great solvent in it, alcohol, to help with that too. But that's where we saw, for the last 100 years or so, people with basically an unhealthy diet that were consuming red wine were living longer. And so, but it was that submucosal absorption of the resveratrol is where they were seeing the effect. And so the same scenario works with CBD oil. By holding that in your mouth, your body gets a much bigger bang for the buck, I guess I should say.
Okay. So when you see these companies that are coming out with gummy bears, and they're coming out with, coffee, CBD coffee, things like that. So you're saying, based on that, you're not going to absorb near the amount.
Correct, because it goes directly to the gut. Even our tincture, if you just put it right down your throat, you're losing a lot of the effect. To hold it in your mouth by far has a better effect than just swallowing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, gummy bears and things like that, it definitely works, but you're getting, maybe 25% the value of what you're spending. And then once again, if it doesn't have a QR code, doesn't have third-party validation, it's not produced by a licensed manufacturer, grown by a licensed grower, extracted by a licensed extractor, there's no regulation along the way. And still, here we are, 70 to 80% of these products that are tested by outside organizations are not showing CBD, or they're showing high levels of THC, and that from time to time, their products are not consistent either. And so you definitely want to use a quality regulated, I'm not for over-regulation by any means, but this is so novel and new. We need some guidelines in this to make sure that people are getting a quality product. Right.
A lot of states here in the United States, we've gone to, and they're starting to go to a, where they don't even have to be registered, not medical marijuana. They can just recreational marijuana. And I hear people saying, oh, I get that with my marijuana. Like you were saying, there's a big difference between the recreational marijuana and the plants that produce high quality CBD.
Yeah, but they're not. Your body produces endocannabinoids. It doesn't produce THC. And the reason is that they compete for the same receptor. People who are looking to use THC don't want CBD because it's almost like fire and water. They don't go together. If you're looking for a psychoactive effect, you want very low CBD to no CBD at all. In fact, the medical marijuana tablets and capsules, they have no CBD in that, because the CBD, once it binds to the receptor, the THC cannot attach to that receptor, and it will limit the amount of the effect of the THC. So people who are taking THC for pain and issues such as that, they don't like CBD for the right reasons. And the same with CBD. You don't want to take THC with CBD if you're looking for that effect. And like I said, your body is producing endocannabinoids to achieve homeostasis. It's not producing THC. But with that being said, there are some theories and there's some school of thoughts that have shown that a little bit of THC may help with absorption. I've read enough about it to think there could be something to that. I haven't seen that proven, but a little bit of THC might actually help with that.
Right. When you see our new product with the THC free product that we have, does some of the qualities of the CBD get destroyed as you're removing the THC?
None of the qualities do. So what happens if you have let's go back to the pharmaceutical Epidiolex that GW Pharmaceuticals had approved back in 2013. When they approved that, and going back to Charlotte Figge, the Charlotte Web product. And so they took this young girl who had epilepsy and seizures, and they took an isolate of CBD, which is only maybe 40 to 50% of the CBD molecules, because there's over 100 different types of those. And now where the science is going is we're starting to identify each of these individuals to find out which ones are better for pain, which ones are better for sleep, which ones are better for focus. And that's where the science is starting to go with this. Well, going back to Epidiolex, they got it approved, and that was an isolate. Then we move up to the broad spectrum, which is the THC free. And so you're sitting at, over 95% of all the same CBD molecules You do lose a small percentage of those when you take all of the THC out of that. Not enough that I think most people would never notice a difference, because we start with a full spectrum with everything, but I would say it doesn't quite have the 100% of the CBD molecules. You would lose a little bit of that. You still have, the concentration, everything is correct on that. And we brought that product out because, a lot of people, we have testing and drug testing, and THC testing is not a measurement of how much THC is in someone's system. It's just an indicator if it's present. And we don't want anybody losing their job over that, even though there's not enough THC in our full spectrum that anybody would have any type of psychoactivity problem with that. You could not get high off that product. But because THC stays in your system so long and it's hard to eliminate after you've been on our product for a few days or a couple of weeks, you would prove positive with the full spectrum for THC. So we brought out the broad spectrum. It's the same material, but we've taken out the THC. But I would think that you would lose a small amount of some of the CBD.
I actually found when I started using the THC-free product that we have,
yep,
I found it actually worked better for me.
And it could.
And I don't know if it's because of the delivery with the spray versus the drops, because I was leaving it in my mouth longer. I don't know, but I actually found it worked better.
Well, and it could. And the thing is, what you're looking for, because CBD affects every organ of your body, everybody could have a different response too. Not everybody, but you could have classifications of people that one would work better than it would for the other. And with the spray, we're atomizing it even a little bit more. And we thought, we could go to a dropper, but we thought we're going to give two different types of applications to see which people prefer. And so it just automatically helps to atomize it when you spray that into your mouth or on your joints or wherever you want to use that product. But depending on, what you're using it for, it definitely could have a better effect.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's great information.
You bet. So, when you're using CBD, because it's an oil, does it make a difference? Does it work better when you take it with food? Like if you take it with a fatty meal, like they say if you take vitamins A, D, E, or K, when you're eating a fatty meal, it'll absorb better. Does that make any difference with CBD since it's an oil?
I think it would help when it goes through the digestive system. You would probably have less metabolization of the CBD. But remember, if we want to hold it in our mouth for a minute or two first. And that's the best way to get the majority of it into our system. But absolutely, if you take it with food, you would spread your curve out on the metabolization. If you're on an empty stomach, it's going to go through faster and be more heavily metabolized.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I would say, yes, that would definitely help if you were to take it on a full stomach.
Okay.
Yep.
Andrea, any other questions?
No, I think he covered everything really well. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
On future products, when I was at Mower Mountain, of course, I got to try the AM and the PM formulations.
Right.
Are they something that is in the near future?
I wouldn't count on for this year. I think
Okay.
It would be a next year product.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the PM formula. I find that if I do that little shot half an hour before I go to bed, I sleep like a rock.
And and you're right, 30 to 40 minutes is a great time to take that. But a real crucial point that maybe I ought to bring up real quick, when people take this product, it's different for everybody. Not everybody has the same metabolism. Not everybody has the same body size. So what Andrea would take, I would take, you know, maybe twice as much, because I'm a much bigger person than she is. And so what I find is in the morning, if I take about half a drop, or about 10 to 12 mg, it helps me with focus. It gets rid of a lot of the clutter and the white noise around. I can really focus on it. I'm not tired. I feel great. If I want to sleep, I'll go all the way up to 50 mg, you know, half hour, 45 minutes before I'm going to bed. And then I sleep great, wake up refreshed, feel super. And if I'm a little stiff and sore, I'll do about 25 to 35 mg. And that helps me with my joints and my back and different things like that too. So you really need to not just think, okay, take one dropper a day. I mean, if that works for you, that's great. But think about the different things, because your body 24 hours a day is producing endocannabinoids, and it's doing that for a reason. It's trying to help you focus. It's trying to help relieve pain. It's trying to help you sleep. All the things that those receptors are there for. So give your body what it needs for what you're trying to achieve. So do a little experimentation with what you're doing with that, and see what dose at what time gives you the result that you're looking for. Because the one guarantee that you have is the fact that this is a third-party validated product. What we say is in the bottle is there. And for what, you know, I have done over the last few years, and I get people every week, especially now that you can grow hemp in the entire nation. Everybody's coming here. You've got to buy mine. You've got to buy mine. No, I don't. We don't have enough time to go through all the different things that you have to do to show me why yours is better. I've done all of that background research to come up with what we have right now. Is it the cheapest to buy? Absolutely not. The stuff overseas I can buy for half the cost, and the price is falling. But what I do know is I have a product that works for everybody, and it's consistent, and it's quality, and it's registered. And that makes me sleep good at night too, even without CBD.
Right. That's excellent.
That's right. Well, Andrea, do you have any final questions for Tom? I know we've used up our half hour of time here, and we've got a, you know, for everybody that's listening to the call, give us a thumbs up, give us the old smiley face. Let us know what your thoughts are, and I'll get this on YouTube within the next half hour, so you can share with everybody and all of Tom's knowledge. So, Andrea, do you have any final questions for Tom?
I don't, but I sure do appreciate that he came on to share with us today. It was excellent.
You bet. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being with us and sharing this information. Have a great day.
Bye.